Tonight, the SLP leader on the Choiseul candidate controversy and the warning to disgruntled SLP hopeful Dr. St. Rose. There appears to be trouble in the constituency camp of Castries Central MP Sarah Flood Bobra. An off-the-hook bar goes up in smoke. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Wednesday, the 15th of July, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, Channel 117, Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and our Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Philip J. Pierre, is not overly concerned about the impact of candidate struggles and dissent between their various camps. The state of affairs in the Labour Party is the water cooler topic of recent days, given released audio of Choiseul hopeful Dr. Alphonsa St. Rose decrying the candidate selection process as being flawed. This after word that Dr. Pauline Prosper was selected by the SLP to contest the seat. The SLP says while it understands Dr. St. Rose's disappointment at not being the chosen candidate, it will not tolerate behavior by any member that may damage the image of the party. Choiseul Saltibus hopeful Dr. Alphonsa St. Rose has not gone quietly into the night following the candidate selection process by the St. Lucia Labour Party for the Choiseul Saltibus seat. Instead, he has railed against the candidate selection process, calling it flawed. He and the former Choiseul Saltibus representative Ferguson John are mounting a campaign of sorts to get the SLP to reconsider its choice of candidate. The SLP put out a statement on the matter on Wednesday, stating that it will not tolerate the tainting of the party's image. The party explains that in selecting its candidates for general elections, it has in place a process that has been approved by its membership and which it follows to the letter. The candidate controversy is trending all over social media. Supporters of the party are appealing for the matter to be put to rest and for everyone to rally behind the chosen candidate in the person of Dr. Pauline Prosper. But will they? Campaigns like that of U.S. presidential candidate Bernie Sanders spawned the tagline, "Bernie or Bust," where his supporters insisted that if he was not the Democratic candidate, then they would just not vote as a means of protest against the selected candidate Hillary Clinton. Clinton ended up losing the U.S. election. Similarly, some supporters of Dr. Alphonsa St. Rose are suggesting that it's either St. Rose or no vote. Is the SLP political leader Philip J. Pierre concerned that this matter has caused irreparable division among its base in the Choiseul Saltibus constituency?
Well, our party is a democratic party, and we expect people to voice their concerns. But I am sure that when the dust has settled, everyone who has as its purpose giving St. Lucia good governance and who has joined our party will join in the movement to get the government of the United Labour Party out of power. I'm very pleased about it. There's a number of men and women who have raised their hands to want to run elections for our party. It speaks to the confidence that people have in our party. In one constituency, there are 6 people who want to run for our party. It shows that people have confidence and people are basically disgusted with the government of the United Labour Party. So we're very pleased by the interest that is shown by capable men and women who want to represent the St. Lucia Labour Party at the next general election.
SLP Communications Officer Mondi Lewis says all those aspiring to be the party's candidates for general elections are made fully aware of the candidate selection process, its conditions and regulations, and are expected to abide by its outcome.
It is with regret, therefore, that the St. Lucia Labour Party has observed that one of the persons who was vying for selection to represent the party in the constituency of Choiseul at the forthcoming general elections has, in conjunction with others, publicly vented his disappointment with his non-selection. While the party understands the disappointment and defeat and is sympathetic toward those not satisfied by the outcome, the party will not, however, countenance or tolerate behavior by any member that may damage the image of the party.
Our sources tell us that Dr. Pauline Prosper outdid Dr. Alphonsus St. Rose at every stage of the candidate selection process, which included a screening interview, a selection interview, a vote by the party, and an independent poll commissioned by the SLP, which identified Dr. Prosper as the strongest candidate to vie against the incumbent MP, Bradley Felix. The leadership of the party is meeting with its membership in Choiseul to bring closure to this matter. The SLP is trying to rally its supporters to not lose sight of the mission to remove the Alan Chasney-led UWP government from power. Following an expression by Castries Central MP Sarah Flood-Bobra that moving forward, she would not be willing to work with the current chairperson of the Castries Central constituency group, the entire executive has resigned. Former Public Relations Officer Kevin Jabatis recounted the altercation, which he says led to the move by the membership. Shaka Wooding has more.
The now former Public Relations Officer of the Castries Central Constituency Group, Kevin Jabaptist, has shared the details of the resignation of the entire executive of the group, revealing that the decision was made immediately following a recent meeting with Castries Central MP Sarah Flood-Bobra. Jabaptist claims the minister's behavior and choice of communication during the meeting was more than enough to drive them away.
We went to that meeting and then we told the minister about her lack of representation in the constituency and her lack of disrespect to the executive, not wanting to work with us. I guess the minister was upset and the minister chose to reproach everyone, telling us what she did for us personally. After leaving that meeting, I felt really bad, to be honest. I felt torn to bits because I was not expecting Ms. Bobra to come in that meeting and go on like that.
By his account, the final nail in the coffin was an ultimatum presented between working with the minister or with the chairperson. Jabaptist says there is speculation that the minister is looking to instead work with an executive she has already handpicked.
Ms. Bobra openly said at that meeting she's not willing to work with the chairperson, so we resigned. If you're not willing to work with the chairperson, we're part of the executive, we're part of the body, so we fall suit. The minister has her selected executive, selected persons to work with, and like she stated at that meeting, she's ready to work. She has soldiers on the ground, so let's see what her team gonna put together for the next general election, so I wish her good luck with that.
He disclosed that the future of the group lies with the decision of voters at the next branch election. Efforts to reach MP Flood-Bobra for comment on the matter were unsuccessful. Jacka Whitting, Hot 7 News.
The life of a young woman from Marcia is remembered and mourned by the parliamentary representative for Castries East, Philip J. Pierre. 24-year-old Anella Wilson, an aspiring medical student, was murdered on the night of the 12th of July at Pigeon Island during an alleged domestic violence incident. JPS says there is a need for people to practice anger management and says legislation dealing with gender-based violence will be a high priority for the St. Lucia Labour Party.
The impact of the killing of 24-year-old Anella Wilson of Marcia is still being felt in the country and more so in her community as messages of condolences continue to pour in. Wilson was shot multiple times on the night of Sunday, the 12th of July. On Wednesday, Castries East MP Philip J. Pierre sent out a message of condolence to the grieving family of the deceased. He also made a heartfelt appeal for persons to practice more restraint.
First of all, I want to express my condolences to the family of Miss Wilson. And I know her stepdad very well. He's been a long-standing constituent of mine, living in the Touge area. So I can empathize with their sadness at the death of their daughter. It's a vexing issue, the issue of violence against women, of domestic violence, and to believe that it happened under such tragic circumstances. It's a very sad thing, and I hope that it serves as a lesson for others to be able to control their emotions. We need to practice anger management. We have to understand that sometimes things will not work out the way we want, but we must control ourselves.
Pierre said in matters involving domestic violence, there are no winners.
There are no heroes in these events. There are victims. Someone has lost their life to bring grief to their family and grief to them, severe pain to their friends and their family, and the other person has lost his life in terms of being able to be a productive member of the society. It's a very sad time for the area, it's a very sad time for the family, and I want to express my sincere condolences.
Pierre was asked about where the issue of domestic violence would stand in the St. Lucia Labour Party administration. He said this has always and will always be a top priority.
You have to look at the party's history. We remember in our last term, we introduced the SMILE program, which is Single Mothers in Life, where we sought to improve the skills, both the parental skills and the other skills of single mothers. So this has always been a priority, and when our party gets in the government, we will ensure that there is opportunity for these young women. We will ensure that in our youth economy, we find place where these people can convert their skills into businesses. So it's a high priority of our party, and by our history, you can see we will continue to advocate for the betterment of the people of St. Lucia and the betterment of the women of St. Lucia also.
The prime suspect in the murder investigation, who was allegedly Wilson's ex-boyfriend, turned himself in and is now in police custody. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
The ever-outspoken Catherine Seelys is once again sending out a call for legislation to be implemented after yet another woman lost her life due to alleged domestic violence. Following the killing of 24-year-old Anella Wilson on Sunday, Seelys says perpetrators will continue to feel emboldened to commit such acts as long as there are not specific laws targeting the scourge of domestic violence.
Another woman has been killed through domestic violence in St. Lucia, which has sparked another monotonous sense of outrage and calls for justice. Calls that will go unheard and will fade away in time until the next incident. These are the sentiments of women's rights advocate Catherine Seelys, who believes that until the lip service stops and direct action is taken on the subject matter, there will be no change. Seelys said perpetrators of crimes against women feel emboldened as there is a clear and disturbing history of people getting away with such heinous acts.
You find people sit back and they see people like Kimberly DeLeo get shot at her home in front possibly of her 2 children. And to date, we do not have any justice, we do not have any decision, there's no conclusive information with regards to the investigation. You have people like the young lady who was shot in a vehicle in Mondido. No resolution. You have Cheryl Clark, you have Samdin Fraser, you have Yana Ogis, you have a number of women who have been killed in St. Lucia. You don't have leadership. You don't see a concerted effort by the powers that be, the legislators, to put systems in place to deal with things like that, at the same time doing public education and awareness on violence, on domestic violence, on sexual abuse of children, and what have you. We have a situation on our hands where people feel empowered and feel they can kill a woman in a crowd of people, in a public place, by a public beach. And they feel it's going to be okay because generally people get killed in St. Lucia and they get away with it. So why not try it as well?
Seelys said the priorities and the spending habits of the powers that be are misplaced. Clip. The Raise Your Voice president said violence is an everyday matter. However, there are hardly any activities, information, and procedures being instituted in St. Lucia. Seelys said this has led to a deadly revolt against a system that is too broken to fix.
If you can abuse the rights of the citizens in small matters, you will abuse the rights of the citizens in bigger matters, and the citizens will then take law and order into their hands, and you have mayhem and chaos, and a man feel he can pick up a gun and shoot a woman, and another man feel he can drive by and shoot 2 young men for no good reason. We do not have leadership in this country. This country needs leadership. And a general election is not going to fix it. The system is broken. We need to burn down the Constitution and start from scratch. I don't know how, lack of justice in St. Lucia is so accepted. People feel if something is not just, in the interest of peace, turn the other cheek, let them slap you and carry on, and you're nice. This has created a situation in St. Lucia where injustice prevails at every level, wherever it is.
Seeley said the emboldened violence plaguing the nation did not start recently. She said it is symptomatic of a society that has been rotten from the core for decades, and that the only remedy is for the masses to take a unified stance to say enough is enough. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
The St. Lucia Fire Service responded to reports of a burning structure in the wee hours of Wednesday, the 15th of July. Upon arrival, the Off the Hook Bar, a popular restaurant and bar in Grand Riviere, was found completely engulfed in flames. Leading firefighter Stacy Joseph tells us more.
At approximately 2:42 a.m. on Wednesday, 15th July, fire personnel from the Gros-Islet Fire Station responded to a structural fire at Grand Riviere Gros-Islet. Arriving officers found a wood and concrete structure with a galvanized roofing bar and grill, measuring approximately 25 by 40 feet, fully engulfed in flames. Firefighting tactics were immediately employed, and the fire was swiftly brought under control and ultimately extinguished. The interior of the building and its contents were destroyed, however, the roofing remained intact. No other properties or individuals were reported injured as it relates to this incident.
The cause of the fire is currently under investigation. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the president of the Medical and Dental Association weighs in on the reopening of St. Lucia's borders to the U.S. and the latest COVID-19 cases. Is the water-related emergency over? WASCO tells us. And another option is being presented to students who scored 30% or lower in Common Entrance. We'll tell you all about it after the break.